ready for it. What are we supposed to do during this part? We just leave or pick our teeth and leave? Oh, you knew it. I didn't know.
Are we recording already?
My favorite part. At least in this program, I know. I can see.
I couldn't hear a word you said during all that. I
Oh,
loved it. I could
I said
hear
it-
you talking, but I couldn't make out a single thing you
loved it.
said.
I feel
was like-
awkward while it's playing. Like I have to say something. I'm like,
You don't at all. I mean, people don't even see it. I put like our logo over the top, so they're not even looking at us while it's playing.
I wish I knew that. I wouldn't have said anything.
Well, if you watch the videos that we upload, you wouldn't know this.
Well, I don't. I play them and listen,
Yeah.
so it gets to play.
Did you? I don't know if you noticed, but on Spotify, the last episode we did, I'm still working on editing the last episode, but the one that went live was actually a video episode on Spotify.
Oh shit!
Like you can watch it on Spotify, which is pretty dope.
So check it out.
Check her out, guys.
What, the football live stream?
Time. No, that one's not anywhere. That one doesn't exist.
On Facebook, it's there.
Well, yeah, you could rewatch it probably, but that's it. But no, the one before that, the one where we were talking about your DOA or DOR or whatever the hell they are struggles. Yeah,
the one that got me in trouble.
Yeah, the one that so many jokes I want to say, but I'm not gonna say them because we don't want lawsuits.
Let her know, bro. No, I'm just fine. Talk to her, bro.
Talk to her, bro. Yeah, I'm over here eating my cheese and chip crumbs.
This is us not saying anything.
I didn't say shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Non-incriminating.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't say nothing on these streets. So what's poppin', my guy?
I was gonna ask you first.
Oh well, I'm just out here living the dream. Taking life day by day. No.
You're not. No.
What?
Back it up. We had a conversation earlier.
Okay.
Don't sugarcoat how you feel.
This is my dream.
We try to preach about being real on here, and you're like, I'm great.
This is my dream. That's honestly my go-to response anytime anyone asks me how I'm doing. And at this point, for me, it's like a sarcastic response. So it's like, just living the dream. Everyone's like,
dream. Same shit, different toilet.
Right, basically. Now, just out here getting through life, getting through work. One day at a time, just trying not to go crazy, and
I feel like that's the worst. I hate to interrupt, but getting through. I hate when it's like, oh, I'm getting through it. I'm so tired of that. Like everything getting like, even when I had all my problems, I was everybody's. Oh, you'll get through this. Like I shouldn't have to just get through shit. Like
no, I know it sucks for sure, but until I don't have to get through it, I'm just gonna get through it.
Until I get through.
Until the getting through has been gone through, I'm gonna keep. But it's like you
get through, then you get through, and then you're like, this is nice, and you're like, fuck, there's another thing I got to get through.
But hopefully, at that point, it's like a fun thing or like a less stressful thing that I got to get through, or at least something that I got to get through that's like I don't mind getting through. Like it's kind of fun to get through. Like it might be stressful, but it's like, ooh, this is an exciting development for me, as opposed to just the same bullshit that I deal with every day.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we were talking about it earlier, but let's start with that, like being burnt out. Like,
dog.
I didn't want to talk about that because I could tell you're going through it with like the burnout and just that nonstop grind to work and being like, yo, this ain't it.
Yeah, and it's like this time of year is always difficult for me too, because like what I do in my 9 to 5 and my job that pays some of the bills, not all of the bills, because I don't make that much money. But it's like Shut up! Don't make me laugh.
Some of the bills, not all the bills. If I was alone, I'd be homeless. But anyways,
Hey, I wouldn't be in
I'd be
this
right there
house.
with you in your dad's
I
attic.
wouldn't be in this house. That's for sure. But no, it's like, so what I do is I help with college students and their events on campus. So I kind of help manage, help plan, help them reserve space and all that super fun stuff that comes with event planning, which I don't mind doing. But what's difficult is doing it for a population of people who blatantly don't follow the rules, and not all of them, right? There's those ones
Mhm.
that know and they're good about it, but then there's like the 70% who are just like, I didn't know that I couldn't have a carnival tomorrow. It's like, dog, what do you mean you didn't know you couldn't have a carnival tomorrow? I signed $50,000 worth of contracts. You can't do that as a student. Like, that's illegal. Not illegal, but it's like horrible practice because now you're responsible for that money. And they're like,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought the school would pay for it. Like, no, it's not the school's name on the contract. It's your name, you idiot. Um, so just like dealing with stuff like that, and it's constant. And during the
So wait,
semesters,
just
yeah,
to stop you so I can understand. So
okay,
I know what you do, but I don't know. And for people that don't know, so basically, is it like if a person or a club is like, "Hey, I want to have this event on
hmm
campus"? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear because
so I've that's how it kind of used to be. Was I was like the main point person for all events, and I did all of it, even though I'm not technically part of like the student leadership office. I'm just
the
the
ringleader
building.
of carnivals.
Yeah. All I do is essentially all I should do is just reserve the space for them and give them the resources that they need. So think about like if you go to a
The
convention
carnival.
center or the carnival, yeah, you want to actually have a carnival. You go to a space and you're like, hey, I want to rent your space. So there's the person who's like, yeah, I'll reserve this space for you for these dates. And I have these tables or trash cans or whatever the hell that you can use during your event. Like that's what I do. But what I
Mhm.
was tasked with doing is saying, okay, let's plan your event. Let's budget it. Let's figure out these contracts. Who are the different offices that you need to get in contact with? Do you need police officers at this thing? Do you need extra custodial staff? Let's get them scheduled. Do you need electric support? Do you need additional resources that we don't have that we have to go to an outside contract for? So I was doing a lot of like the execution sort of the events.
Mhm.
But that's gotten better now because I've actually gotten the office who should be doing that involved, and now they're taking more of the lead on that. But me, as the building manager, like I still approve all of the reservations for space in the building for all student orgs, and it's a lot. Like I think today I processed like over 200 requests,
Damn, I
and
didn't know colleges did all that.
that's like a daily thing. Like every day I go in and I boot up my little system that I go through, and it's like you have 150 outstanding tasks, and I'm like, cool, I want to jump off a cliff from that as opposed to do these. So it's just a lot.
Damn.
But then it's kind of got like during the winter breaks and especially during summer, like when all the students are gone, like I have nothing to do. So it's like
Mhm.
0 to 100 and then 100 to 0. So it's just kind of getting through the fall and spring semesters and
Mm.
then being able to relax a little bit more. But on top of like trying to be consistent with content creation and side hustles and maintaining a family household and supporting a 1.5 year old baby and all this other stuff. It's like it's just a lot to balance, really.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Especially because like that, it's like that quote. It's like you're not tired, you're uninspired. And it's
Mm.
like, no, I'm fucking exhausted. Got kids trying to work and do this, and then still trying to
Hmm.
make these videos and record and
Yeah.
edit and all this other shit. And yeah, it's hard, especially like because I know at my last job I felt the same way. Where it's like I was like, man, I'm busting my ass, and I like for something I don't give a shit about.
Right.
Like I'm working
Right.
hard for pointless shit.
Hmm. And that's totally how I feel. Like, it's not that I don't care about higher education, but I'm definitely to a point where I don't want to be in this field anymore. but I don't know what else I would do. You're right. So I'm like kind of also trying to balance, like, do I want to research a brand new career path? Do I want to potentially have to go to school for that career path? Is that something that I want to, like, where am I going to take time away from in order to be able to do that? Like, what am I going to have to sacrifice if I want to
Yeah,
make
and
that
still
transition?
be able to pay some, not all of the bills.
Got to keep some of those bills afloat,
Yeah,
you
some of
know?
those bills are yours.
Hey, some of them, hey, every month I'm like, I got
That
this
Anytime
one.
Fitness does not pay itself.
I don't even pay for that anymore. Fuck that.
They
I don't have a gym membership at all
sent
right
me a
now.
fake collections letter. I was like, "You full of shit."
Get this out of my
We
face.
got your logo on it. It's not a real debt collector.
It's got your logo on it. That's great. But
No,
yeah.
I did know. I was thinking the same thing before I got hurt. Like we talked about, like I felt I was doing too much. I was burnt out, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't really want to do this." Like
Mm-hmm.
I could see myself here for 20 years, 30 years, but I don't want to.
Right.
I don't like because I see the guys that are there from my age range to in their 60s doing the same thing I'm doing. And I'm like, can I really do this every day for this long? The money's
Yeah.
good, but
Is it worth it
like
though?
fuck. And there is kind of a stigma with our generation that millennials are the first ones to like be like, no, I'm not happy doing this. I'm not gonna do this. But
Mm-hmm.
also, we don't get the luxury of, all right, your hours are 7 to 3, 9 to 5. That's all you do. And
Mm-hmm.
houses are basically free. Like
Yeah.
they had all this extra income and all this extra money. So generations
Mm-hmm.
before us could do all this they could do their pet projects and do the stuff that makes them happy. So if
Right.
they had a shit job, it wasn't that serious.
Yeah.
Not saying they didn't work hard. Like obviously, some like I know like my dad, he works busts his ass his whole life, and in
Mm-hmm.
the field he's always on call and everything. But I remember younger, I was like, I never want to be like that, and then I was like that until I got hurt. Then I was kind of forced, like you said. But I have the luxury of the army paying me to go to school and kind of making
God.
up for that gap, and I can afford it. And so it's like you that can't, like I feel for that because it's like, damn, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't know what I would do. Like if I didn't have the GI Bill, I would have had to tough it out at work and not see my kids and been my back be fucked, and I wouldn't have any
Right.
option. I have to stay there.
Right.
But I knew I had that out of like, okay, well, I can do this and it's not that hard on my back and I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Where you don't get that luxury, unfortunately, which sucks. There should be some kind of like even community college. Like I'm going to community college, but community college should be fucking free. Like as long as
Yeah.
you pass, be like, all right, if you fail, you pay. If you miss the attendance, you pay.
Right. No, I completely agree with that. But that's kind of something that I've struggled with. And
Hmm.
so, like, in thinking about if I wanted to make more money in the field I'm already in, just continue, grind it out. Like, yeah, it's not like a passion field of mine anymore, but it's what I have skills in. It's what I've been doing for the past 8, 9 years, however long I've been in this field. The only way, and this is like I hate this about my field, but the only way to kind of advance my career and get like a higher paying role is to get a doctoral degree. And
Mm.
the school I'm at now, they have a doctoral program, so I could get it cheaper than I would if they didn't have a program, but it's like I already have a shit ton of student debt. Do I really want to take on a whole other 2 years of classes in a field that I'm not passionate about, that I
Right?
don't, that like why, and it just feels like torture. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And that's the only way that I can. And like, yeah, like the pay jump, like if I got a director role would be really nice. Like it's like 6-figure salary, but I'm like, that also comes with you're selling basically your soul to the university that you work for. Like you're on call
Yeah.
constantly. You're responsible for, which of course is you're the director of a department, but I I don't even enjoy what I do now, and my responsibilities are nowhere near what my director's responsibilities are. If I had his role, I would probably go crazy.
And you're
So
stuck there. Like you that's like
I could get
that's not
like,
something that you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go find something else.
Right. Yeah, because like the skills that I have aren't easily translatable to like a corporate world where I could just go do whatever. It's like I'm so education focused and so education based
Hmm.
that it's hard for me to say, okay, well the experience that I have doing room reservations, I can do whatever else in this field. And everyone's like, no, you're like,
I
no.
can team up with J Lo and be a wedding planner.
Right. Like I can't,
Like
I don't
it's
have that.
limited, yeah.
I don't have that transferable. And there's people say, yeah, there's all kinds of transferable skills that you can talk about. I'm like, where? Well, I don't show me. Write my resume then. Do it for me. Prove it.
It sounds like there are, but then when you actually try to think, because I know how much you actually like, you do a lot,
Hmm.
but then you actually think, okay, but what is the like exact career you could transfer that to? And that's the
Yeah.
hard part.
And I found some that feel like close. Like project
Hmm.
management is like a
Yeah,
title that I found that feels like something that I can transition to because essentially what I'm doing now is managing a bunch of projects all at the same time when it
yeah,
comes to event planning. But the difficult part of project management is like there's a project manager for basically any field that you can think of. So like project management in the IT sector, project management for healthcare, for construction, for talent, like recruiting for jobs and stuff. And I'm like, I don't like, yeah, okay, I've managed projects, but I've never been in a healthcare position. I've never worked with IT. I've never done construction. Like I don't have that relevant experience that those positions would be looking for. So again,
yeah.
it feels super limiting. Like I can go get a project manager certification for like dirt cheap. Like it wouldn't cost me much money and it would take like maybe 6 months, but then still finding a position where I can take my relevant skills and say, what I do now translates very well into this. It's hard. It's easier said than done for sure.
But even if you bust your ass, do all that, wait that 6 months, and if you're like, this is exactly the same thing, just with a different title. I have the same bullshit I didn't like here. I'm doing the same thing, like where I'm busting my ass and I'm bored, busting my ass and I'm bored, which
Hmm.
it could be exactly the same. Because I know in construction it's like that, and there's a few different fields where it's based around like holidays or based around summer and based around certain tax time, and like you could be pigeonholed again in the same spot, and then you're like, well, fuck, I did all this extra work just to change careers. I'm
Yeah.
making a little more, but I'm equally as unhappy.
Right. Which is absolutely a potential. And I've thought about that, which is like, do I just kind of stick it out here until something else pops up? Like, I don't know, maybe this thing blows up and we can do this full time and I don't have to worry about it at that
Hey,
point. Um,
maybe.
but kind of the way that I've justified it is if I'm still going to be stuck doing the same thing and still feel as unfulfilled as I feel now, I at least want to hope that whatever I do transition into, I'm making more money than what I'm making now. And that would help. Like I wouldn't be, obviously 100% satisfied, but I'd still be
Mhm.
like, oh, well, I'm bringing a little bit more into the house than I was before. So I'd feel a little bit better about the work that I'm doing. And also, if I could find a position somewhere in some field where I can potentially be promoted based off of the experience that I have and like my actual job performance as opposed to just my formal education, like that would be motivating for me as well. Because right now I don't feel motivated to go above and beyond in my role because I know I can't get a promotion unless I have a doctoral degree. Like I'm not going to get
Yeah.
much higher unless I have that extra piece of paper. So I'm like, well, why should I bust my ass then if I'm just gonna be stuck here? So,
That's how I felt at my last job. Like they dangled the promotion, I didn't get it.
hmm,
And I was like, then what the fuck am I doing here? Like
right, yeah,
I'm very goal oriented. Like I need like something to strive for, no matter what I'm working on, what I'm working in, what
hmm,
I'm doing. I need something. Like give me fucking something to work towards.
yeah,
Even the projects I was doing or whatever, it was stupid shit like, oh, this lady's light in her desk is out. Can you go change the light bulb? Or like, oh, this guy wants to swap out his desk for a standing desk. Like it was
oh,
dumb shit. Like, oh, can you
yeah,
go hang this TV in this lab? Can you go check on this this robot arm that picks up a little piece and drops it isn't dropping at the time it's supposed to. Like, it's
Oh.
dumb shit that I'm like, I don't feel like, oh, I fixed it. Nice. Now it drops it at the right time. Like, I felt like an idiot. Like, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And still, like, I was like, I feel even dumber. Like, this is the dumbass robot that just goes like, boop, boop, boop. And it's like, oh, it's letting it go slow. So we have an issue.
Oh, how
So I was like,
dare
this
it
is
let it go
fucking, I was like,
slow.
this is so boring. And then,
Make
like, I
it.
could sit at my desk and watch Netflix all day. And like, at first I was like, this is awesome. I'm getting paid
Yeah.
for this. And I was like, nah, this is boring as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that honeymoon phase of a position really wears off quick. Like
And the
super
money, like, I was
fast.
making more money than the job I had previously. Similar work, but the workload was way less.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, even though I was getting paid more, I wasn't satisfied. So,
Yeah.
like you said, like, if you got paid more, maybe you would feel a certain way. But it was like, even though I was getting paid more before I got hurt, I was like, this ain't for me. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. I don't know, man. It's like it feels weird to be in my 30s and still not really know what I want to do with my life. Like I'm like, I don't know, I don't
Yeah.
this sounds fun for right now, I guess. Like, I don't know. So, and it's like it's like extra weird because I have students that I work with pretty closely who are in my office like panicking, like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I'm like,
I'm
been
10 years
there.
older than you. Neither do I.
Yeah. Look at me with a whole career and I still don't know what I want to do with my life. It's
Yeah.
okay. You'll figure it out eventually, hopefully.
It might actually be harder for you too, because like your wife is doing what she wants to do. I don't know if
Mm,
she's happy doing it, like at
yeah.
whatever she's doing, but I know it's like the field she wanted to be in, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So
Like
it's a little,
she knew from college that she wanted to go into dietetics and that was like a field she
yeah,
was passionate about. Yeah, for sure. Which is it I don't want to say it's harder for me because she's still struggling with kind of the same things that I'm struggling with because she has goals that she wants to achieve too, and she feels like she's not working towards them. Like her ultimate goal is owning her own
to make
business.
AJ Brown overweight and
Oh,
play terrible and get
yeah,
kicked off the team.
essentially, yes. In a nutshell. Um, no, I don't even know if like working with athletes is like her ultimate like dream career path. I think it could lead to it, but I think what she really wants to do ultimately is own her own business, and work with clientele that she feels like she's really making a difference in their
Yeah,
lives. And so we've kind of talked about it a little bit. Um, Originally it was like working with couples and helping them with fertility issues through their diet because that's a whole huge thing that I didn't even know was a thing, but she wrote a whole article about it and was like, wow, badass, go for it, girl. um but I don't really know, but she's definitely not as fulfilled in her current role as she could be either. So it's
mm,
still kind of one and the same of like going through the motions, getting the job done, and her work is like her workload, at least right now, is way more than mine because I can come home and not do my work. Like, yeah, I'll have a shit ton to do when I go home or when I go back into the office the next day, but I don't have to work at nights
yeah.
if I didn't want to. Whereas right now, she's in the living room right now doing work. And I'm like, damn. And for like the past 3 nights, she's come home and like had to do something for work. I'm like, that's trash.
Uh,
Like
I would
that's
hate that.
yeah, so I empathize with her a lot. I think a lot more than my situation because I know I could have it worse. I'm just I don't know what to do, but I don't have like a shitty situation by any means.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's like always what makes it harder, that you have essentially a fallback because you're already there at your
mhm.
fallback.
Mhm.
So it's like, what is the point of you risking when you already have, like, you're already chilling in the safety net? It's not like you
Yeah.
have a safety net, you're in it.
Mhm.
Like, so why would you want to risk it, especially having a family and a baby and a house and mortgage and all this shit? So
Right.
it makes it way harder of like,
Mhm.
fuck, where I was kind of forced into my situation, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of worked out. And now I'm studying something that I want to do. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know I wanted to do it. So I talked to my advisor to go to school. I was
Yeah.
just going to go for business. And then he was like, well, what do you want to do with business? And I told him, and now I'm doing audio and video and I love it. And it's like life changing. I'm like,
Yeah.
my teacher talked to me Friday about, she was like, you need to apply for the, what was it, like the honors society or whatever. She's like, if you keep this up, you're going to be on the dean's list, and then we can do this honors program and you'll get more work, but then it'll help you on your resume and I'll be able to get you a job. And like, she pulled me aside from the rest of the class one day and I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. Took me a long time, but once I get there,
You got there though. And
I'm
I
working
love
on it.
that for you. I love that for
Yeah.
you. Honestly, like that's really great. Yeah, I don't even like remember the last time that I was so I guess maybe it's just because it's something different, but like learning about YouTube and like how to grow on YouTube and like the algorithm, making thumbnails, all that kind of fun stuff.
Those
Like that's
fucking thumbnails.
hey, they're important. Your thumbnails, your
They
title,
are
your
important.
tags, like all that stuff matters. And
Yeah.
once I starting my own little channel, like aside from this and just kind of working on that and watching that grow, and that kind of is like a motivating factor because it's like, okay, like people actually want to watch the content that I make. Like that's pretty freaking cool. Like I didn't expect anything to come from that. And now I have a little over 3,700 subscribers. And I'm like, that's a
Woo,
number I never
my
thought I
man.
would hit. Um, so it's like that's pretty motivating. And it's like kind of like
Mhm.
a cool little like, am I making money off of that? Yes. Is it a lot? Absolutely not. It's like nowhere near me being able to quit my full-time job and just do that full time. But
Yeah.
just learning about it is invigorating, and it's like kind of keeping my mind off of the other stuff that I'm just stuck in the safety net, just laying there like waiting for something to happen, where it feels like I'm actually working towards something. And it's kind of like a little carrot being dangled in front of me. It's like, you could do it, you could do it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I could do it. But then also with that, it's a grind. It's basically like a second full-time job to research the content, make the content, edit the videos, make the thumbnails, research the tags, make its SEO, search engine optimization for all your videos so people actually find it. Like it's a lot of work to do all that stuff. So it's like, could I see myself doing it full time? Sure, why not? But
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know what that would look like for me yet. So,
Yeah.
but it
I
is
feel like I
fun
struggle with
nonetheless.
that part of it, the research part of it, because like in my brain, I get so excited to just do the content, post the
Hmm.
content, and see what happens that all the other stuff falls to the wayside. Because I'm just like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And I
Yeah.
get hype and I get too excited, and then I forget those little details. Even though I
Hmm.
like it, it's like it overwhelms me sometimes. And I did
Sure.
talk about it in the one video I did about like overthinking it and like catastrophizing, like, oh shit, but then I got to look up this, then I got to look up that, and then I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. But then even posting it and only getting, what was it, like, I think I was at like 40 views when I checked, and I was like, shit,
Hmm.
I voted
Hmm.
my first one. This is crazy. And it's not a lot, it's not much, but it's still like you said, like it gave me that feeling of like, okay, I need to keep doing this. And I need to get better at it, and I need to learn how to do it. It was like that, not full blown affirmation, but it was a little bit of like, okay,
Yeah.
the people I know are enjoying it at least, because that's probably the scope of my views. So learning all that and growing is really how you get there. Because if the people you know like it, then the people you know are probably the least likely to like your shit no matter what you're doing, because they know you. Like I just feel like whether it's music or something, like they'll support you, they'll share your shit
Hmm.
and everything,
Hmm.
but they talk to you every day, or
Right.
they talk to you all the time. They don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what you're talking about on your podcast because they probably heard it already. Like for the
It's a good
most part, there's
point.
people who like they'll listen and be like, oh well, I know his story. But yesterday, all I did was really talk about my story, made a few jokes about how I couldn't be a Viking, and that was pretty much it. And
Yeah.
it's like shit that people have heard from me, but still, like just that little bit of traction, just like yours, where you're getting a lot of bit of traction. It's kind of the same thing where you want to see where it goes, but you're also like, this net is
Mm-hmm.
comfy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like I'm like the complete opposite of you. Like I love doing the research and I love like not like maybe just like daydreaming about what I could do with the research or with the knowledge I have, but then actually putting it into action is not like it's not that it's difficult. I just it's the burnout thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I'll sit down and I'll record like I try to batch record the videos. So I'll try to do like I don't know, 6 recordings in a session or 6 different videos in a session. And I'll get through like 2 and I'll be like, I want to go to bed. Like I'm losing my energy. And it sucks because like the viewers notice that. Like
Yeah.
if you're not present or if you're not energizing and like they're not going to want to watch you if you don't have your personality or if you're not your full self in a video. So it's kind of like, well, maybe I should stop because I'm not putting my best effort forward in this piece of content that I'm making. But then I feel guilty because it takes me like a few days to go back to it. And then I like miss some days of like scheduled uploads or like the schedule that I want to keep. I'm like, well, I'm not going to grow if I'm not consistent. So it's like this
Yeah.
weird cycle of
It's the Baker
staying.
Mayfield cycle.
Yeah.
That meme of Baker Mayfield.
Uh-huh. It
Play
literally
great,
is.
get criticized, play like shit. Play great, play great.
Yeah. And that's literally what it is. So it's
I think, yeah, you said it perfect. We're like the opposite of like anytime. It's like I would always joke when I lived there about being in album mode. Anytime if it's like easy for me to get there, or now that I have it set up, like today I texted you at like fucking noon, and I was like, I'm ready, let's do it. But then I don't do the legwork that I need to do. Instead, I'm just like, let's do the action, let's do the action.
mm-hmm.
It's like skipping all my practices, and I show up to game like, let's fucking go, and everybody's
Yeah.
burnt out from practice, and I'm like ready.
Like why is everyone so down? What happened?
Yeah, why are you guys tired?
What did I miss? Yeah. I don't know. But it's still like it's nice to have something that I can kind of turn to and have like an outlet for. Like I don't feel completely stuck. You know, like I
Yeah.
have something that I can work on that I'm building that I feel proud that I'm building. And, you know, hopefully one day, fingers crossed, could replace the safety net that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I just started getting that feeling yesterday because it was like, not saying I don't like, oh, I don't need you anymore, but it was like I was able to do it without you there. So it was
yeah.
like, oh shit, I can do what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just as fun. I thought it wasn't gonna be. I was like, by myself, it's gonna be so boring and hard, and I don't know what to do. And so now I'm kind of feeling the same, where I'm like re-energized about, I dare I say, like life. Like I'm like, shit, I have
Dare
something.
I
Like, because
say.
when I go to school, I know I'm in class, I'm focused, I'm like, this is what I want to do, I'm excited. But then I go home and don't apply it to anything. And now
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, I didn't edit it or anything, but it was like cool to get it out there, to be like, okay, now we're in motion. Like now I can get rolling, and I
Yeah.
can stop fucking around. Even though I love to fuck around, but
I mean, don't we all? A little bit. It's fun to fuck around every once in a while. But
I think that's important though, and it's hard. Like I try to preach. Like there was a guy who posted about, hey, if I did comic reviews, would anybody want to check it out? And I sent him a message. I think I commented too, and I was like, hey, I saw your post. I don't know shit about comics, but you should do it. I was like,
yeah.
I don't even know you that well, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember how we're friends, but do it, because if it makes you happy, even if you have one viewer, do it, man. I was like, I'll check it out. If you just tell me to check it out, I'll watch your shit all the time, because you gotta have, like, I think everybody should have that, like, where it's not just you working for someone else, or you doing something just to provide for your family. Like you gotta have something that makes you happy, like not
Mm-hmm.
just, oh, I'm playing video games, or I'm shutting my mind off for a little bit, or I'm smoking and watching TV and joking with my boys, whatever. You got to
Mm-hmm.
have like a passion project, like something that you're genuinely into. So
For
whether
sure.
it's, even if it's something small, like, oh, I want to do, like how Red and his girl did the weightlifting competition, like
Mm-hmm.
something that you're working towards, or something just that you can put your effort in that's not work related that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And
I
I
totally
feel
agree with
like a
that.
lot it's really important, and a lot of us forget that, especially like now with COVID times and everything. And I think that's why everyone's so down, because it's like we all have like lost our outlets of what do we do now? What?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people without work or without their jobs, they kind of lose their identity,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they don't know like what the next move is or what to do. Even if you're getting paid, you're still like pacing around the house, like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Because some
Cause
days
yeah.
when I'm not doing like the dad thing, I'm like since I've been staying with my dad, I'm like, well, all I really do is fucking drink and play Call of Duty. Like, what? Like, I gotta fucking do something.
Back to
And
your
then yesterday
college
was,
days.
yeah, like, fuck.
Yeah. I think for me it was like the quarantine, like I kind of wish that I started this stuff in the middle of quarantine. I feel like I kind of started it towards the tail end, but I wish I started it in the beginning because I have like all the equipment well, most of the equipment that I have now, I already had or I had access to. So I could have started
Mhm.
this like way sooner, but
Yeah,
for
because you
some
were
reason
doing the Pokemon streaming before. That's how you
yeah.
started, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was making the Pokemon gameplay stuff. And that was a little, I mean, gaming on YouTube is a super oversaturated market, so that wasn't going anywhere. And Pokemon was so niche that like I would have had to start 10 years ago if I wanted to really make
Yeah.
waves.
You'd have to
Um,
have like an established fan base and
right, exactly.
yeah.
Um, but what I'm doing now, like the music stuff, I kind of wish that I did in the middle of the pandemic because I think that would have just given me more of a foundation of just allowing me to have the time where I'm just sitting at home doing nothing but cranking out videos all day. Whereas
Mhm.
now I'm started it at a point where like yeah, we're still technically I guess in a pandemic, but we're not in quarantine lockdown anymore. Like life is pretty much back to normal. I'm working full time. I don't
Yeah.
have the freedom of being able to be at home and not have as much of my actual career to worry about to to do this stuff. So I kind of wish like that's the only I guess if I can go back, right? If you can go back in time, if you had a time machine and if I can go back to
Mhm.
March of 2020, like I wish that I would have just
Dog,
kicked
like
myself in
2018
the
when you said
pants.
we should do this.
I've been trying to get somebody to do this for so long. I really have been. I think that this is like,
I've been the one too the whole time that was like, "Let's do it,"
I know
but
you've
with
been
no action.
right.
See,
And I'm
like,
like,
that's like,
yeah,
since day one, I'm always, like, ready, but not willing to figure out what to do to get me ready.
right.
But I'm like, whenever it's all in front of my face, I'll fucking crush it.
Yeah, you're basically just like the talent in the studio. Like you're just like, yeah, give me a director and a producer and put me in front of a microphone, tell me what to say, and I'll fucking say it with the most
Yeah, I'll fucking do
enthusiasm
it
in the
right
world.
now.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. So
but I don't
eventually,
want to just be that, like, for my goal. I want us to be self-sufficient where, like, say you got other shit going on or I got other shit going on. You're like, hey, you got to edit this one or you got to do this one. And I'm like, all right, cool, send it to me. And
hmm
then I can go and do it and vice
hmm
versa. And the quality stays the same. Or even
right.
if I get to the level that mine is like top tier quality because of all the schooling and everything I've learned, then I
Yeah.
can just do everything. And that'll give me more satisfaction in our work.
hmm
Because I know you probably have more, like, you feel like you have more stock in it than me because you're doing all like the legwork, and I'm really just
hmm
like, I'm ready, fucking tell me when. And then I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, hey, is it ready? And you're like, not yet. I had this, and here's me going to class for like 3 hours a day, and I'm like, well, fuck, I want to see the episode. Like,
Yeah,
let's record.
it's tough. I don't think that I hold like any animosity or anything because I enjoy
Oh
doing
no,
it.
not like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And it's fun to learn because
yeah.
editing
It's not
our
fun to learn.
stuff. No, well, it is fun to learn. I think it's fun to learn because it's like fun to um figure out like if I have a problem or if I have a creative idea like, I want to make this edit. I know what I want it to look like. I just don't know how to execute it on this program. And like figuring out what I need to do in order to make it come to fruition is very satisfying for me. So like there
Mm.
was um there was a video that I did where I edited I was able to figure out how to edit the video. So like I did like a punching motion and I made it look like I broke the glass and like the screen fell away and like my title was in the background. So it like broke the top screen into my title screen. And I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. And it took me like 3 hours to figure out how to do it. But I fucking figured out how to do it by myself. So it's like,
Yeah.
I enjoy editing and I enjoy like because it's like a puzzle for me. So I enjoy trying to figure it out. So and then it kind of helps with future videos because I'm like, oh, I know how to do this, or it helps me like be a little bit more creative or want to do more. It all
Hmm.
for me just boils down to I just wish I had more time to tinker and to fuck around with it and like not have to answer bullshit emails all day and do room reservations all day. Like I would much rather focus on this stuff than what I actually do to pay some of my bills.
Right. To pay some of the rest
Some
of the
of
bills.
a little bit of the bills
If I
and
could
have
get
no
like that much
savings.
more bills that I
If I
can
could
contribute.
bring one bill into my portfolio at a time.
So I don't know if it's just me or if it's like ADHD or what it is, but it's like when I go to edit something, there's so much that I get
Hmm.
so overwhelmed that I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna post it like this.
Yeah.
Because even the other day when I couldn't figure out the mic monitoring thing and I was texting you about it, you found it in like 2 seconds. I looked it up for an hour and I was like, I can't figure this out. I was like, so I'm gonna have to record this whole episode, wait till I'm done, then listen to see if the levels are okay. Then if they're
Right.
not okay, I gotta fucking do it again. And I sat there for like an hour trying to figure it out. And you figured it out in like 2 seconds. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like, and the one time I opened Premiere and I tried to do something, I was like, whoa, this ain't for me.
Yeah. The first time I opened Premiere, I had the same feeling. I was like, oh, where's the effects? How do I do this? Like, I thought
Yeah.
it would just kind of
Like,
be
I'm
drag and
okay
drop.
chopping it up, and I think my problem too is I don't know, like you said you wanted to do the punching thing and you knew what you wanted to do.
Hmm.
I never know what I wanted to do. I'm like, I just want it to look good. I don't fucking know. And I'm not
Yeah.
there, like my brain isn't there
Yeah.
yet. Like I'm
I
trying to get there. And I think that's why I have trouble looking up what I want to do because it's just so much that I can do that it
yeah.
overwhelms me. And I'm like, ugh.
I understand that. And I think, I don't know, I think with time, and as you get more comfortable with um the program that you're using. And I think once you actually do start editing videos, or even hell, what I get a lot of my inspiration from just watching other videos. But when I watch it with like, what are like the different effects that they do? What are the edits they make? What are the cuts? And I think about like, how did they do that? Like when they did that zoom effect, like how would I recreate that in Premiere? How would I put a
Mm,
text on screen and make a pop noise when that comes on? So it's like whenever I consume content now, I'm consuming it with like, how would I recreate it? Kind of a viewpoint instead of just to
mm,
bullshit waste time and just, oh, whatever, I'm just going to throw this on because I'm bored right now. Like it's almost kind of like doing like my own benchmarking research of like I'll look at
yeah.
people who make very similar content or content that I hope to make one day or things that I'm interested in. And I'm like, okay, what are like the angles that they use when they film this? What does their audio sound like? Did they edit the color? And just kind of think about like stuff like that. So I think in the future, like when you've watched like Madden clips and stuff like that, when
Yeah.
you see the different edits that they make, like just think about like, how would I do that? How would I make I don't know, I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but when you have a thought of like, how would I recreate this edit that they did? Literally type that sentence into Google. Like literally say how to make like when I was doing the glass breaking thing, I typed in Google how to make a glass breaking effect on Premiere Pro. Like that's literally what I
Oh
typed.
shit. So it's like,
And
see that I feel like sorry to cut you off, but this
no, it's
like
fine.
usually that like with things, that's my problem is I skip over the level of the easy way to think about it and I jump straight to like I'm never gonna figure this out. I don't think
Hmm.
easy enough of like type in Google how to do this in this. But I was because even the other day when I was googling it and I couldn't find the answer, it was stressing me out more. So I was like, I can't fucking figure it out. I was like,
Yeah.
how am I ever gonna learn to edit if I go type in how to make the screen shake like the guy in the Madden video when he catches the ball and gets hit and then the ball pops out and then I'm like, well,
Hmm.
fuck, that didn't work.
Hmm. No,
And I feel
that's
like if I get like discouraged, it brings me down that rabbit hole real quick of like, I'm never gonna fucking learn this.
yeah. Usually, because I felt discouraged with stuff like that too, and that's when I'll usually take like a little break. Like I'll give myself a half an hour to like not worry about it, and then I'll come back to Google and just be like, all right, let me try this again. But no, I literally will type in what my question is, like word for word, in either Google or YouTube. And odds are someone else has either asked that same question and the internet has answered it, or someone has a video on it. And that's literally what I did to figure out the majority of my editing skills is just asking Google, how do I do this? I didn't know. I didn't know shit.
I did a project like a week ago, and the teacher was like, "All right, I'm gonna show you how to do a fade, fade in and fade it out." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "That's all? That's all you got to do?"
Right.
And she was like, "Yeah." And this is the same teacher who like pulled me aside a few days later and was like talking about honors, but she looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. I was like,
I'm
but
learning, lady. Don't
because of
judge.
how I am, like the I feel like the teachers see like the average college kid's enthusiasm versus mine.
Hmm.
And I'm super animated anyways, so I'm like, "Holy shit, are you guys seeing this fade?" I was
Faded
like
the
watching it
fuck
like,
out of these scenes.
and then when it's done,
Yeah.
there was
See?
like one thing I did too, and like it was like a I forget the name of it. It's like the Cavan something effect where it's like you show someone's face, then you show like say you show a blank face, and then you show like a plate of food, then you show a blank face, and you're like, oh, he's hungry. Like it makes you
Mm.
think of that emotion. So I did that in my edit because we learned it in class. And I was like, oh, this will be cool. And then she mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, that was dope, right? You
Hey.
know, the fucking effect because it made you think that he was thinking about the thing.
You see me. You see me teach. You know what we're doing
And
over
like I just
here.
get extra hype, and but I definitely skip like the easy stuff. Like I don't keep it simple in my head, so it like gets all fucking warped before it gets there, and I'm like, yeah, it's easier than I think.
Yeah. No, I feel that. It's definitely easy to get discouraged, but I don't know. It seems like you have the passion and like the desire to want to learn. So I think that the more comfortable you get and the more you figure out just like how to ask the internet a question that you have, like it makes it so much easier. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, usually I'm just googling like how many receptions did Wes Welker have in 2009?
Yeah.
That's my usual Google, like
You
not about editing.
just got to change the way you think about it, bruh. But
I
you're going to
think the
be,
biggest problem I had too is my uncomfortability recording by myself,
yeah.
which I don't know why it's been such a big problem. And then yesterday I was like, it took me 3 or 4 times to record the video. Then I was like, just fucking we'll do it live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I did it, and after I watched it, and I was like, oh shit, this actually isn't as bad as I thought. And
Hmm.
I asked one of my boys about what he thought because I knew he'd be like honest, and he was like, I could tell that you have done this before, or like that you're comfortable speaking in a microphone. And I was like, and I feel like a lot of people when they start something like this or they do something by themselves, you can see how uncomfortable they are, and you hear the pauses and the ums and the ahs.
Right.
Like, but yours came off so organic. Like obviously you're still working on it, and I could tell that it was your first one because I know you and everything. But he did say that, and I was like, oh shit, that made me feel like better about it. Of like, okay, so maybe I'm just getting in my head too much, like everything else, and I need to just dive on in.
Dive on in. Yeah. That definitely happened for me too when I started my solo channel. Um, and it still kind of is a little bit. of an issue. Not that I'm uncomfortable recording by myself, but I'm uncomfortable recording like while Hallie's still awake because
Yep,
it's
that was
just
kind of my
me.
issue.
It's just me, and like she can't hear what I'm listening to, so she doesn't know what I'm doing. So I'm just like making these random ass noises, like I'm not talking to anybody, right? Like I'm just reacting to stuff, and
What's up, babe?
yeah, and
What's up, KJ? Luna?
like I know she probably doesn't care at all, but it's just a mental block that I have that I just won't while she's awake. Part of that is because like I want to hang out with her because we don't really get a lot of time either. But then the other part is like, no, I'm gonna wait till you go to bed. Which
Yeah, I feel
sometimes she
like
can
that.
still hear me. Like last night I recorded and she texted me, she was like, I love your passion, but you're too loud. I was like, oh sorry. My bad.
We used to get many of those back when I was recording at your house. Jay is too loud.
Right. Tell him to shut the fuck up. I'm trying to sleep.
He made me drink vodka, all right? So that night was crazy.
That was a good night. Yeah, you remember when we were going to give away merch? We were like, yeah, free merch.
We were drunk as fuck. We were like, we're gonna have fucking merch. We both ordered a shirt.
Hell yeah.
We'll have merch one day, but we're very far off.
We had such high hopes.
We still do.
We still do, but we were acting like we were an established show. It was great.
Yeah, all fucking 4 viewers were like, what are you guys talking about? Who wants a shirt?
Someone's probably still waiting for their sticker.
It's not on us. We paid for it. I don't know.
We are not to be held responsible for any promises given for merch in our history. Apologies. Take it up with legal.
I need to take a quick bathroom break.
Okay.
You got a bathroom noise?
I could put one in, probably.
Bathroom noise.
Welcome back.
Daddy's back.
Daddy's back.
So one thing I did want to add to, I was thinking about it while I was pissing too, is just how lucky I am for the situation. I know I said it, but like Steph told me when I first she was like, oh, well, you're going for business, right? And I was like, oh, after talking to my advisor, I'm going to do audio and video, but I'm going to concentrate in video. And she was like, you've always, since I met you, you've always loved that. You've always wanted to do that. I'm so glad you're doing that. I was like, oh, shit. Like, and that's someone I have to provide for. Right. It's like, and then, like, I love my grandmother, but she used to say, like, when I first went to school for audio, she was like, kind of one of the get a practical job, do something more practical. Right. When I would visit her like a week ago, I'm out of breath. I would like try to be quick. She asked me like, oh, well, what are you going to do with your degree? And I kind of told her, and she's like, there's a lot of money in that. That's a really good idea. I was like,
oh, look at grandma with the change of heart. That's crazy.
Like just when I broke it down to her how I was going to do it. And she asked me like, are you guys still doing the podcast? And I was like, yeah, we just started up again. She's like, that's good. That's really good for you. I like that. And I was like, aw, Nana. OMG. Even though she probably doesn't watch because we're super inappropriate sometimes.
It's okay. We'll have
alien buttholes and everything.
Oh, I forgot about alien buttholes. It's all right. We can have a Nana friendly episode one of these days and send it to her. Maybe.
I know, right? Maybe a minute clip.
Yeah. This one right now.
Love you, Nana.
No, but that's awesome, man, that you've found yourself in a position where you can kind of go after the things that you're passionate about, where it's the universe kind of like reset.
It's weird
things
because
for
when I
you.
first did it for audio and moved to Florida, everybody was like, "This is a mistake. This is a mistake." And then I had to drop out because I couldn't afford it, and they were like, "Told you."
Yeah.
Not like in those words directly, but
Right.
I don't remember who said it. It was someone in my family, but they were like, "I think now it's time you start to get a little more practical." And I got pissed off about it. And then I was in the army like a month later.
Because that's so
like,
practical.
but now I see how much the field has grown and it's continuing to grow. And it's not like you're either in Hollywood or you're not working. Like
Yeah.
you can work for a show like this, but the people have money
Right.
and they can have no viewers, no nothing, but they can afford to hire you to do it for them.
Which is dope.
Just little things like that. But it was just like, I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but that book, The Alchemist, I always like think about it because it does say things like that, where like you get the beginner's luck and you get the affirmation from people, and that's how you start your journey. And then you're going to have a lot of fuck ups, a lot of issues and roadblocks along the way. But when you start, usually it's like that. So it's like omens and signs telling you like, hey, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Keep going. But you're going to be tested eventually. But early on, you usually get like that good luck and you're like, oh shit, shit's going great. And then I'm already seeing a few like problems along the way, and you're going to see them. But you got to kind of, even in your situation where you're gaining traction on your other channel, you're doing things, and that's kind of your affirmation of like, shit, maybe I can do something with this. Maybe even if this doesn't do anything and both of our separate things do, like, you never know. Or we find different avenues of YouTube or what the fuck ever, you know?
For sure.
It just kind of like lets you know you're on the right path of where you're supposed to go. And that's how I feel like I approach a lot of things in life since I read that book. So I've never been like religious, but it kind of gave me faith in like a higher power of like, oh
Sure.
shit, there's a way to go and there's a reason. And it kind of just gave me that direction.
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. And I think, and I'll kind of, we always talked about like the manifestation and stuff like that, and how you manifest the stuff that you want around you. And I think that this is a prime example of it. We've talked about doing this since, well, the 2018, right? Just doing stuff, and the fact
I
that we
mean,
just
technically started 2016. I think we were smoking, watching Pokemon. Like
true,
one of the first nights I met you,
yeah.
and you said something about you like, man, we should have a podcast. This shit is funny. And everybody was like, what the fuck is a podcast?
I knew. Damn, I was
Yeah,
cutting
you were
edge.
the
Look at
first
me.
one. You were on the wave. If we hit that wave early, fuck.
But
Damn.
just the fact that I think that we've talked about it, and it's been something that we've continuously talked about, like throughout our friendship. Essentially, like we've always kind of had a similar mindset, a similar like goals, I think, ultimately, of like wanting to build something like this, or be able to like create something where we can do something like this full time, where like
Yeah.
this is what our focus is. And I think the fact that both of us are comfortable enough to say, yeah, we don't care if one of us makes it through another channel, because I think ultimately we both know that like it's a team effort. Like
Yeah.
even if this solo channel that I have does blow up into something bigger than it is now, like if I can get to a point where it's making some money, and I can have like you, if you start really getting good at with editing, just like have you edit the videos, and like I pay you for that, absolutely. And then we just kind of build our portfolio that way. So I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's kind of weird to think about, but it's almost like I'm not religious either, so I don't have like a better terminology to use here, but it almost feels like a blessing that you and I met
Yeah.
each other, because it definitely feels like we have very, very aligned views on how we see our future unfolding. And I think having each other to like motivate one another, like the fact when I started this solo channel and you were like jealous watching it grow, like I think we need that for each other.
But in a
I
good
think
way. It wasn't
of
like,
course.
you son of a bitch.
No,
it
of
was like,
course,
damn, that's
obviously.
dope. I wish I could do something like that. I should try. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe jealous wasn't the good word, but like motivated. Like you were motivated. You were like, damn, look at you. Like I want to do that. And so it's like now you're working on getting yourself to a place where you feel like you can do that. And like these are the kind of pushes that we need for each other to continue to move forward and continue to reach and strive towards the things that we want for ourselves. And
yeah, just
I
like the
fucking
last
love it.
24
I think it's
hours,
great.
everything I was texting you, were like how hype I was. I was like, yo, you're not going to believe this. I'm ready to record. I don't need a half hour.
It's all ready to go. I can just sit down and
like,
press play.
I went to Walmart and bought a whole bunch of shit. Like,
oh, I love it. Yeah, it's
I think that goes back to the same thing. Like when I referenced that book, that's part of it too, where like everyone you meet is for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And I've noticed a lot of times when like we're not recording or we stop recording, someone will ask me, or there'll be some kind of reference to the podcast. And I'm like, maybe I should hit them up. And we gotta do this again because I don't know why we stopped.
Yeah.
And you see those signs. And I think that we like, honestly, it sounds corny, but like we met, there's a reason we met and a reason we went down this path and reason I live there, reason we started this. And I don't know where it's going to go or what it's going to be, but I feel like everything did happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that even if nothing happens, like still this shit is, it's fun. It's something to do. Like it gives me something where I'm not just coming home from school or work or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, I guess I'll just fucking play Call of Duty for 6 hours and go to bed and whatever. And cool, this is my life. Like, that's so fucking boring. Like, I like playing video games, but fuck, that's boring. Like, that's not a way to live. Like,
for sure.
Or just coming home, like smoking, laying in bed, and like, oh, well, I'm not that tired today, so that's cool. Like, not
got
fuck
a
that.
little bit of energy right now. That's kind of nice. Yeah.
And I hope anyone that's like watching this can take something from it of like, maybe I should pursue this, or maybe I should, like, whatever you're into, whether it's like an instrument or whatever, like find what you actually love. It doesn't matter what it is or what anybody thinks. Like, even though we do have people in our corner, we didn't always, like, other than our wives. Like, there were some episodes people were like, oh, that's good shit. Other episodes we had like 2 views and it was me and you. Like,
yeah, right. Literally.
Like, you're not always going to have everybody have your back on it, but I just think too many people don't do what makes them happy. Like, I know I didn't record for a long time because I was scared. I've been scared to record. And I kind of got over that fear yesterday, and it feels like a weight was lifted. And I'm like, I can actually do what I want to do now. So I can't practice editing if I'm not recording. So how can I do what I want to do if I'm too scared?
That is a
so
fact.
Either way, like, a lot of times we let like fear get in the way of that. And I'm glad that I got to see you overcome it and do it. Cause I know even recording, I felt like when we started, you were more nervous than I was, where I was like, I'm in my element. Let's fucking go. And you were like, okay. Like, you had all your things written and like I had no script and I was like, fuck it, we'll just go. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
This is crazy. We're off the rails.
This man's just ready to go.
Is every day like this with him? Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm in album mode. I got Selena Gomez blaring right now. I'm ready.
That was a good time. But no, I definitely echo what you say. You know, for people like to just start, to just do something, or to find their passion. But I would argue to just, even if you don't know if you're passionate about it, but it interests you, like, just give it a shot. You know, like, give it a solid like 2-3 months of you being consistent with something and see how you feel. Reevaluate. If you don't like that, maybe something will come from it that you do like, but not taking action and just living a life of like, what if I did actually try to do that? Like, you never know. So I would say just go for it. You know, if it's something that you don't wind up doing long term, that's okay. You can at least say that you tried it though.
Yeah, I think that even actually today spilled over into streaming, because I always wanted to stream and I'm like, I was always scared. Then today I was like, fuck it, let me see how to stream. Oh shit, I can do it like this. All right, fuck it, I'll just stream. I only had one person in there, but
Hey,
once I got over that initial fear of like doing this kind of stuff by myself, it kind of just went over to why don't I do things that I want to do and that I like to do? Like, why am I
yeah,
so scared? The worst thing, some person I don't know is gonna be like, "You suck," and I'm like, well,
he's right.
heard worse from better. So, all right,
Heard
my
worse
dad
from
agrees with
better.
you.
Uh, he says you're correct. Yeah.
But
No,
my
you
mom
can't be
says I'm
afraid to just
handsome.
try. My mom says I'm handsome. She says I'm a nice young man. But yeah, I don't know. You can't be afraid to try because it's better to try to have failed than to never try at all.
Yeah,
That's from something. I don't know what, but that's definitely from something.
it's from
Shakespeare? I
everything.
don't know. It's from
Probably
life.
Will Smith. I don't know.
Probably,
He says shit. He
probably
says
will
shit
Smith.
like that all the time.
He does.
Oh, that was
He's my
weird.
birthday buddy. We
We
both
both
adjusted
just
at
did
the same time.
the same seat adjustment.
My scoliosis was acting up. My back was curving. I had to straighten it out.
You had to straighten out your back. I didn't know you had a gay back.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's not do that. All right. Here we
My
go.
bad.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I thought we had like such a motivating little segment. And
I
all
ruined
of a
it.
sudden, I have
All
a
right,
gay back.
I do. So I don't know if he's watching, but my boy Matt Maruka posted this, and I wanted to ask you, and it's kind of on topic what we're talking about, anyways. He just all he posted was, "How do you want to be remembered?"
Mm.
And I looked at it for like fucking 20 minutes, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is a good question."
It is a great question.
Yeah. So what I wrote in the comment, so it's like, I want to be known as a great man, but a better father,
Mm-hmm.
someone that helped other people, and then could spread some laughs along the way.
Yeah. That's a
And
good one.
I feel like I'm on my way, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But then it made me wonder, like, what you would say and how you would want to be remembered.
It's
Tall.
interesting. Yes, actually,
He was a
I do
tall
think
man.
man of very little words, but he was tall. Um, I don't know. It's like kind of weird to think about because my introverted side is kind of like, don't remember me. I don't want to be. I'm fine. It's okay. Just keep on keeping on. I'm okay. I'll just be back here.
All right.
Yeah, like peace. But there's the other part of me. I think that
The other party that's like, watch this. Watch this.
a um no, I think that I would want to be. I think this is something. This is like feedback, I guess you can call it, on my personality or just my leadership style, I guess you might want to call it. That I've kind of come to really appreciate is, people say that whenever there's a situation of high stress, everyone's super high strung, everyone's freaking out, doesn't know what to do. I'm always like the calm voice in the room to help people kind of level out and be like, everything's going to be okay. We're all going to get through it. Like, it's going to be fine. We're going to figure it out. So I think that's something that I would really want to be remembered as, is someone who, when someone feels overwhelmed or they feel stressed or they feel lost, that they were able to come to me, have a chat, and just feel
First person I text every time.
right. And so I appreciate that. Like, I really
Yeah.
do. And it's something that I don't think that I realized that I did this or that I had this quality until, I think, ironically enough, my last job performance review, when it was brought up, my boss brought up, he was like, yeah, every time your team is like stressed or freaking out about an event that they have to put on, you're always like super calm, super quick to help with a solution, and you just kind of help mellow everybody out. And I'm like, I love that. Thank you very much for
Mm.
that compliment. And I think that's how I hope that I'm remembered, is like, whenever people felt like it was all doom and gloom and they couldn't make it out of a certain situation, that they can come and talk to me and even if I can't provide you with a solution or, you know, a way to get out of that situation, I can at least help you feel like it's not the end of the world and that you're going to get through it. You're going to be okay. Everything at the end of the day is going to work out the way it needs to work out. And, you know, there's really no reason to kill yourself over any situation, truly. Like that's how I think I'd want to be remembered.
Well, that's actually like spot on, because that day that I was at like peak of my bullshit and I texted you that long thing, that's basically what I told you. It was like, nobody's had my back like that and calm me down and help me in such like a shitty time. And even like to reach out and be like, if you didn't hear from me, you'd be like, you all right? You good? What's going on? Whatever.
Yeah.
We recording. Like, you just reach out just to reach out. Like, you just like had that sixth sense of like, I need to hit this motherfucker up. Like, you just knew. And you definitely have those qualities. That's really good.
Oh,
That's a different take on the question than I had. So in that sense, I would say for me that on the flip side, I was the person who could always get out. So like if I'm in that situation and I'm there, whether I'm by myself, whether I'm with my family, whether I'm going through it alone, whatever, I always come out on the other side. And you worded it perfect one time. I actually wrote it in my phone just because I felt like it was such a compliment that you said everything that since you've met me, all the shit I've gone through, that I never get jaded and I never change who I am. And I could be an asshole every day. I could be a miserable prick and I'm not.
Yeah, right.
And I'm still the same. I'm going to treat everybody the same either way. And I could easily be on the flip side of life isn't fair and I'm fucking just bullshit. Right. And yeah, I get like that sometimes, but it's not for very long. It's like when I'm in my lows, and then I wake up the next day and I'm like, shut your bitch ass up. We got class today.
Right.
Let me
throw up the bun. Hey.
Messy bun, getting stuff done.
I think that's great. I think the first answer that you had was spot on, because that's who you are as a person, and those are the values that you've always carried, and those are the values that you've always held important, near and dear to your heart. So I think that your original answer is like perfect for you, and I think it's how you will be remembered. But you know, the people who really know you, who have really been with you through the struggles, through and like helped you, like myself or your sister or your parents, like your second answer, that's how we're going to remember you also. You know, we're always going to remember you as the person who was able to maintain his sense of humor through all the bullshit, or maintain a smile, or be able to, you know, just carry on like your original true to self personality through all of the mud that you've had to trek through, because that's not easy to do. And a lot of people really, really just lose themselves in those dark moments of life. So
it's easy to do too. Like there's been times where I'm like, there's been days that I go to class, I'm like, fuck everything, fuck this, fuck that, and then I'm sitting there, and then I remember one day it was like the peak, not the peak, but like while I was going through my bullshit, we were filming a project. I didn't plan on talking at all that day because I was just in such a bad mood. And this dude that I'm cool with was like, oh, to get that shot, we're going to move the camera on the other side because we're not going to be able to see the prop. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize you got promoted. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, to Captain Obvious. Everybody started laughing, and like the whole class was like, oh shit, that's so funny. Like this old motherfucker making jokes. And then it was like, snap me back to like, this is who I am. I can't be a miserable fuck all the time. Like that's not me.
Right.
And even though like I struggle with depression and all that stuff, but it's like in certain moments that's when it like clicks, where I'm like, no, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
It's almost like Two-Face, where like 1 second I'm fucking down and like, fuck this. And the next second I'm like, what is it? Liquor, I hardly know her. You know, like those stupid ass jokes. Like,
I love those jokes. Those are
the ducks.
The ducks. The 5 ducks.
Dude, the ducks today was the best. So anyone that has a fucking cell phone has had this happen.
Oh my
where
God.
It autocorrects dicks to ducks. Or fuck to duck.
Right? Like why that? Why fuck to duck? I mean,
and it made it funnier because like like, I mean, I guess I can say this. It's not that big of a deal. We were talking about someone getting a train ran on them.
Yeah.
And someone said 5 ducks. And then me and Jordan ran away with the duck jokes.
Quack, quack, motherfucker.
So you got to have a lot of bread for that.
Those are the conversations that I really wish. I wish our group chat sometimes was coordinated enough in a conversation to be able to put those conversations in podcast format, because that was like perfect top tier content that we were spitting today in the group chat. But we're too reckless to put all of us on microphones together at the same time. It would be,
I mean, with this
horrendous show.
With this platform, we kind of could.
Kind of, but
not all at the same time. It could be like 4 of us, maybe.
Even there, that feels like a lot, because I know it'll just be talking over each other constantly.
Yeah.
And
we're not so good at that. Yeah.
That doesn't make for a very good listening experience if you have 5 people yelling at each other at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to unlearn my bad ADHD habit.
It's hard, man.
Steph sends me memes of it all the time, of like how I interrupt and stuff. And I'm like, I'm doing my best to try to fucking fix it, all right? And she's like, how many times do I yell at you? I was like, all the time. She's like, name one time. I was like, you don't, but you sent me memes. It hurts my feelings.
Basically yelling.
Yeah, right?
That's good.
It hurts my soul more.
Which one? I'd rather you yell than send a meme.
All right, so I don't anticipate us recording for 45 more minutes, so
okay.
I'm going to take these edibles right now so I can sleep in an hour.
Look at you. I'm jealous.
They're my last 2.
Do I have any more cookies?
I hope so. Well, I got these gummies.
Oh, man.
Are we going to get banned because they showed the gummies?
We didn't show them. Just showed you eating them. I didn't see the container.
It's legal in Massachusetts, all right?
Yeah. It's the internet. What are they going to do? Arrest us?
You can get shadow banned. I know cursing too soon.
On what?
Twitch?
On YouTube. Oh, on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I curse all the time on my YouTube.
Why are we live on other platforms?
No, we're not live.
Oh shit! I was gonna say.
Imagine that would be crazy. We're not live. That's our other studio. Tomorrow, I think, right?
Oh yeah, maybe? Tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow, even though you'll be hearing this in like a week or 2.
Yeah. I gotta finish editing that fucking other episode. Oh boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Look at her butt.
I might have my next episode up before the next 2 episodes we have to post.
Shut up.
But I don't do as much. Like, mine are short.
Yeah, you got to figure out thumbnails.
And I got to figure out thumbnails.
I was surprised when I started doing like research into like YouTube and how to be successful at it. Like everyone, and I get it, is like your thumbnail is one of your most important things to have people click on your video. I'm like, I didn't even think about it, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Like I don't
for me.
Really?
That's what's weird. Like I have the people I subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
The titles is what gets me. Like if it's a title of something.
Yeah.
Because usually, I don't know. Because I'm looking at thumbnails right now of my recent videos. And
of like that recent videos that you've. Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, like a lot of them's like motivation, like bodybuilding or gaming, and I mean some of the thumbnails are good, but mainly just the gaming ones are the ones that like you could tell they put a lot of effort in. Where it's like get more kills in Call of Duty, 10 ways to improve. Because I wanted to look up the settings that people have, so I was like, "There's no way I'm running the same speed as everybody else." And I Googled it, and I was like, fuck, I'm going so slow. That's why. So I did the settings, and I was trying to find the right video. And honestly, some of the thumbnails were too busy, and it like made me not want to do it.
Yeah, I
So if
think
anything, a
there's.
thumbnail won't make me click it. It'll make me not click it. Because if it's like, I wish I could share my screen with you.
Oh, can you not? Oh, I guess I could share my screen with you, but
It's basically like a outline where it just shows like your, I guess your avatar, your character that you play with. But it has like graphic effects on it, like almost like Instagram filters. So it like pops a lot and the colors are real busy. Then it has like super bold text that like pops out of the screen almost like that kind of looking. And it was like too much. And I was like, this ain't for me. Like when you
yeah.
look at recent views, it's like that much of the bar is filled because I started and I was like, no, this is too much.
No, I can't do it. Can't do it.
So I feel like it's also like you have to have the right amount of like if you
Yeah.
overdo it, it's just too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that there's definitely thumbnails that I've seen where I'm like, there's a lot going on. I'm not going to watch this one. For my thumbnails, I try to just make them so that I went for just like people being able to recognize them. So like all of my thumbnails have the same background. It's like the same formula that I use for my thumbnails. So that way when people see it, they're like, oh, I know that channel. That's J-Max's channel.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Like I'll show you.
He's like, oh, that's Riverside, motherfucker.
Riverside motherfuckers.
I lost my search already.
Oh, let me go to my actual.
So
let me go to my actual channel.
Is this a conversation we should continue recording for?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I was gonna say because I want to get like into the thumbnails and like.
Right. You want to end it?
All right, yeah, we're gonna end it so we can learn our craft a little better.
If you're interested in learning more behind the scenes YouTube stuff, let us know. I'm happy to make videos on that.
And on a serious note, if you do make like you see this video and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make a review show or I'm gonna do this kind of passion project and you want us to check it out, send it to us. I will definitely check it out.
Yeah,
I will look at whatever it is because I'm all about supporting, going after your passion and pursuing your dreams, I guess. So I can send it to us.
We'll give you honest feedback on it too. So I think that's super important to get. We won't be yes men. All right.
No men.
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Bye.
Bye.